In this video, we're going to talk about how to get started in property with little or no money. If you're looking at the current climate right now is actually a really good time to buy property because the property market is not moving as fast in some areas than others. So we've got to look at those different pockets. So I'm going to go into how we actually do that and some of the strategies that you should use, especially in today's market. So the first way to get started in property without using any of your money or very little of your money is a concept that my business partner, Mr. Vincent Wong, pioneered in the UK called lease option. So what is a lease option? A lease option allows you to control a property without the obligation of buying that property. So let's say, for example, you wanted to lease option my property. You would say, look, I'd basically lease the property, i.e. to rent that property. And so they would pay for the mortgages. Obviously, they would need to get permission to do that. And then, of course, then you would rent it at a much higher price. So let's say the property is worth, let's say the mortgage is £500. You rent it for £1,000. Then you'd be able to get the 500 difference. So that's one way you can actually control property. There's a saying that says, control everything and own nothing. So that's lease options. The second way to do this is to use property investment joint ventures. So what is property investment joint ventures? So let's say, for example, you would like to buy a property, but you don't have the money. So you could go to somebody else and say, look, you put the money in and I will transact the whole property deal from start to finish. You know, there are three types of people. You've got people who are cash rich, you've got people who are time rich, and you've got people who are knowledge rich. So if you fall into one of those three, you can actually joint venture with somebody and be able to have them put up the money and you just put in your skill. So that's another way you could actually transact property by using joint ventures. Another thing you can do as well, let's say you wanted to buy a property and you got a little bit of cash, but you don't have enough cash. Well, let's say you needed a £50,000 deposit for a property. Well, you could put 25,000 in and you can find a joint venture partner and buy one with them, and then 25 to 25, that's 50,000. So that's another way for you to acquire property without using any of your money or using very little of your money. Third way to invest in property without using any of your money or very little of your money is to make sure that you are focusing on using the concept of OPM. What does OPM stand for? Other people's money. When I first started buying property, you could actually do something called a bridge. So a bridge, let's say you wanted to buy a property and the property is worth 100,000. And let's say you didn't have the cash, but you were able to buy that property below the market value. So let's say you buy the property for 80,000. You might want to use somebody else's cash to be able to buy that. Now you're thinking, well, why would anyone give you that much cash? Well, first of all, they would bridge that to you, which means they have security of the property. So if you don't pay them back, they can basically repossess your property. When you're using also bridge, you're also paying a higher fee as well. So let's say, for example, someone's lending 80,000, you're paying 1 or 2%. That's actually, when you're doing a bridge, it's a little bit more expensive. Well, it's a lot more expensive than if you do it the traditional way because you're having to pay a high interest on that loan. And then typically the risk is if you're going to rent that property out and you're going to complete on that property, you'd have to refinance that property out. And if you can't refinance out of it and you're renting it out, then you may be in a negative cash flow position. So be very wary of that. So number 4, you can actually buy a property, renovate it, and then you can sell that. A lot of people want to go the big deals. I remember when I first started in real estate, I wanted to buy property like near Waterloo Station, and I wanted to buy this building, this development, and it cost this much, millions, this, and it's like, it was way too big for my first deal. So what you want to do is maybe have like starter deals. So you want to like a little deal, you make maybe 10, 15 grand, you take that money, you reinvest into another deal, and you make some money on that, and then you start reinvesting. Start with the smaller deals and work up. Like no one goes to a hotel straight away, right? You're gonna have to, you know, it's like Monopoly, isn't it? You get the greenhouses and then you get the hotels, but you got to get the streets first, and you want to start with the smaller deals and start getting to the bigger deals. So I recommend, if you are looking to start in property, I know you want to think big, I know you want to do big deals, but start off the small deals, because here's the thing, you're also going to mess up like the first 5 or 10 deals, you're going to mess up on the most. Try to think about it like this: if you've got those deals and you want to do it on that big deal and you mess up on the big deals, then the zeros are a lot more costly. Number 5, you could actually become a property sourcer. So you can actually source people's properties for them, and then maybe you want to take a cut from that deal. So you might want to take an equity. So let's say, for example, you go and source that deal, you let somebody else fund it, and then you just take a equity stake in that property, maybe 10%, 20%, 30%, depending how long you negotiate. And this is actually what I started doing when I first started. I had someone else fund everything. I was the person that went out to be able to find and scout all the below market value deals, and then that person would then fund those deals, and I would take a percentage of every single deal. That's actually how I started off in property. And so if you're watching this right now and you're looking for ways to get into property and get stuck, so I get asked this a lot. I mean, my channel's not only about property investing, it's not only about business and starting business and, you know, different ways to create multiple streams of income, but this is one of the ways that you can do it. And so try them out, give it a shot. And if you like it, and also if you love this video, hit the like button. And if you've got any questions, leave a comment below. Don't miss out on all the new videos that I create. Hit the subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you don't miss out on all the new videos I create. This is John Lee, the author of Business Hack. Bye for now.